All right, I'm here with Clifford Franklin, lead singer of Nail Driven and the organizer or promoter of Lamb Jam. How are you doing today?
Crazy as ever, good sir.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about Lamb Jam. What is it about as an event? What is it? What is the message?
All right, Lamb Jam was a project that was laid on my heart last year, right before school went out, and the idea was to have a festival, an all-day event where we did nothing but Christian music. And there was a music festival that was gaining some popularity here locally. It's in its 7th year now, called the Lenten Music Festival, and that was 3 days, an untold number of artists, and I thought that was just absolutely brilliant. But at the same time, I wanted something to where we could actually get out a solid message, and Lamb Jam just seemed to be the perfect catalyst for that. As of now, it's over 20 acts on 3 stages in 1 day, which is a little bit daunting, but that said, we've got more than the music going on. We have a lot of supporters that have come up beside us, including the Linton Food Pantry and all the Ministerial Association here in Linton, Indiana, that has provided concessions for free. I think we're sitting in here right now, and all of this food's about us. Then we've got all sorts of tournaments going on, 3-on-3 basketball, 4-on-4 volleyball. I think there's going to be a golf tournament and Guitar Hero somewhere in there. I'm not any good at Guitar Hero, so a little bit doomed.
You're a singer.
Yeah, I stick to the mic if I can. But yeah, so it's just been a day where we can all just kind of get together and see what happens when 2 or 3 really come together in agreement.
Right.
So it's exploded this year, but we're looking forward to a few more years of this.
Okay. So tell me about the event last year. Last year was the first, the inaugural event. This is the 2nd year. Tell me about last year, how that went, and what you're looking for this year.
Last year was our first effort at this, and we really weren't sure what to expect. We took the Roy Clark building up at the north side of the park, and we just set up a couple of stages there, nothing really major. We had Uriel Productions on with us at that time, and 50,000 watts inside of one building is enough to destroy the place, so I don't think it ever reached half. But we had about 16 acts within there. There were some speakers and giveaways, and what we really thought was just going to be a really humble beginning ended up bringing about 500 people in. So we were absolutely amazed at the turnout that we had there. And it was just great to be able to see that. We had a lot of people there doing a lot of different things. The clothing that's being given away this year was there last year. And it was just really cool to see. This year, we're obviously expanded out of that little building there.
Yeah.
And the hope is that with the bigger venue, with the increased number of artists, and just the overall expansions that we've done this year, that we'll be able to double the amount of people we've got. If we can get 1,000 out here today, it'd be wonderful. We basically have to base ourselves off of what we have here locally, and with the Linton Music Festival, it's no small quantity to see about 3,000 to 5,000 people out there over the Labor Day weekend. So we've got our work cut out for us, but we've got God working with us, so hopefully that'll help.
Right. Okay. So overall, what is the message of Lamb Jam? What is it that you're trying to get out to the general public?
Gotcha. All right. Basically, with Lamb Jam, we want to spread the message, the good news, literally the gospel, in a neutral territory. There are people here today that would not darken the door of a church, and we want to be able to speak to them through the music. And honestly, if we're going to be fishers of men, we got to cut bait here. And some people may not listen to gospel music. That's fine. That means they're probably not here right now. They're probably still asleep. And well, I would be too, but we've got all sorts of different things that appeal to all sorts of different tastes, that they'd be able to come out and enjoy this and see the gospel for something a little bit different than maybe what they originally took it for. I know a lot of our friends up in Indiana State, they think Christian, then they see the buddy out there with the sandwich board yelling people down. That's not what Christianity is in any way, shape, or form. So we kind of wanted to be able to present the gospel in a place where people could feel comfortable going, which, I mean, it's the Linton City Park.
Right.
It's a very open venue. So we're hoping to spread some seed here today.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that over Indiana State and probably a lot of other schools, there's people out there with sandwich boards, you know, shouting at people, throwing them down. How important is it to you as an artist and a Christian and a promoter to put on an event that shows them that that's not what Christians are about?
That's pretty much my overall aim. I mean, as someone who is a Christian, we are called to be witnesses in our own backyards and the surrounding areas to the ends of the earth, and I think this is a great way to do it. It gives a lot of regional artists who wouldn't get anyone's ear before this to really have a platform to speak off of, and with that, we hope to be able to spread some good seed, and I think that's incredibly important, that we're able to get people a place where they're actually seeing people come willing to listen to what they have to say. And you don't always get that. A lot of people will turn you off at the very name that you're a Christian. So this little project we got here with Lamb Jam seems to follow along the same lines, and I think it presents the same opportunities. So as far as how much we can do on our end, we're very limited, seeing as, well, we can't force people to listen on that, but we know that we've presented opportunities here for God to work, and that's what we're looking for.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about some of the bands that are coming. They're not all from the Linton area. Some of them aren't even from Indiana. Tell me about some of the acts that we're going to be seeing out here today.
Well, we've brought in a lot of regional artists. Basically, we drew an hour circle and said, this is where we're going to get the majority of our musicians. And by and large, that's what we did. But then you have acts like 77 Times that came from way up north in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And basically, a lot of these are bands that we had met through our 2 years as Nail Driven, which I'm sure we'll get to that later.
Right.
But just a lot of band friends that have come back. So it's almost like a family reunion of sorts.
Okay.
In that respect. But with some of these further out bands, we've had people that just came and took an interest in it, that somehow by word of mouth or something like that managed to hear about the festival and wanted to get on board with it. So we're glad to have them, and hopefully they're able to rock out today.
Okay. Now you mentioned this kind of like a mini family reunion. I just went to Cornerstone not too long ago, and most of the bands I talked to there said the exact same thing. And with the heat today, it kind of feels like a miniature Cornerstone with 3 stages and over 20 bands. What do you think about that?
I'll tell you what. I love the concept of things like Cornerstone, like Ichthus, like Life Fest, and it's such a great premise to be able to bring people together. We've stayed away from the national acts when we could. For now, we really want to be able to not have to put too much competition between the local guys and the big guys. We don't want to see people stay away all day just to hear the bigger acts.
Right.
And I think with the local music scene, that will really start to shine a little bit more. And I think there's a lot of good ground building that we're doing here. Obviously, we're not in the same scope as Cornerstone as of yet,
right.
But I mean, we're in our 2nd year, so who knows?
Right. It is kind of cool to see it growing like it has, especially the 2nd year. First year, yeah, I had 500 and hoping for 1,000 today. It's just really cool to see something like that, and especially come out here and see people like that kid over there in a Disturbed shirt, and then people up on stage singing about God. It's just really cool to see a collection of people like that.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and that's what we aim for around here. You're not going to see anyone shoving any gospel down any throats. I think you'll just really see what happens whenever you really do get a bunch of Christians to work together. And it seems like we don't get that enough nowadays, but I'm hoping that this is just one place where we can start that good work.
Right. Awesome, man. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you, man. Always fun.